Tutorial sheet 1, question 1, so all these questions relating to signals and systems. So question 1 says, how is the unit step function u of t related to the impulse function and the ramp function? So first of all, we need to know what these things are. So the unit step function, is a graph which is a time varying function, which is has a value of 0 for time less than 0 and has a unit amplitude. For all time, this goes on to infinity, but has a unit amplitude. The impulse, delta t, only exists, I'll draw this in a thicker line so you can see it, only exists at t equals 0 and has an area of 1, and we denote that by an arrow at amplitude 1. And the ramp function is simply that. So this is ramp function. So the question is asking, how is this function, the unit step function, related to the impulse and the ramp? Well, if we look at the impulse function, we know that this function has an area of 1. Now if we were to integrate that function, well, as we look at the integral of t less than 0, we have nothing. And then as soon as t equals 0, we have an area of 1. And then obviously the function goes back to 0 again, so nothing changes. So the integral of minus infinity to infinity of the impulse response with respect to t is actually equal to the unit step. So the integral of the impulse is equal to the unit step function. Likewise, if we look at the unit step function and if we differentiate that, with respect to t, that gives us the impulse function. So there's this pair of manipulations that you can do. So if you differentiate the unit step function, you get the impulse. So if you integrate the impulse, you get the step. Well, if we look at the ramp, and if we look at our step input, if we integrate that again, clearly we're going to have an area which is 0 for t is less than 0, and then our area is going to gradually rise. So in other words, if we integrate from minus infinity to infinity of the step function with respect to time, we get the ramp function. So these are the relationships between these three important functions.